AITA for staying in a hotel while my friend was trapped overnight inside the airport. Now she tells me that I left her. A few weeks ago, my best friend, also 20th, and I decided to take a trip to the UK. We're both pretty young, so saving up for this took a lot of time and effort. And the whole thing meant so much to us because I've always wanted to show her around the UK. My dad's British, and I've visited a few times growing up, but this was going to be the first time I went there with a friend. We had this picture-perfect image of what the trip would be: shops, historic landmarks, cute little villages, maybe even meeting up with some of my relatives over there. You know, the whole dreamy UK experience. There was one snag, though, before we even started. I have a UK passport, thanks to my dad, but my friend doesn't, so she had to go through the whole process of getting a UK visa, which wasn't exactly fun for her, but she got it done, and we both figured, okay, that's the hardest part. Now we just get to enjoy the trip, right? Ha, I wish. The day of the trip came, and we were absolutely buzzing. We had 2 flights, one from our home country to France, then a connecting flight from France to the UK. The first flight was smooth, no complaints. We landed in France, tired but excited, ready to hop on the next plane and be in the UK in no time. But then it happened: the second flight was cancelled. At first, I didn't believe it. You know that sinking feeling when you hear the words "flight cancelled" and think, no, this can't be happening to us. Yeah, that was me. I mean, this was supposed to be our dream trip. But nope, no flights to the UK until 2 p.m. the next day. And this wasn't a short delay either. We were looking at nearly 17 hours of being stranded in the airport. Both of us were exhausted at this point, especially because we hadn't gotten much sleep in the days leading up to the trip thanks to all the excitement and last-minute packing. Now, the airline did offer something of a solution. Since the flight was cancelled, they were putting all the passengers up in hotels nearby for the night, free of charge. It wasn't ideal, but hey, at least we'd get a decent night's sleep, right? Wrong. This is where the problem really started. My friend, because she didn't have a visa for France or any European country, wasn't allowed to leave the airport. Legally, she had to stay within a specific area of the airport for the whole 17 hours. When we found that out, she was understandably upset, and I felt so bad for her. I mean, just picture this. She was stuck in this awful part of the airport that was noisy, crowded, and extremely uncomfortable. The ceiling lights were these bright fluorescent things that stayed on 24/7, and they weren't just annoying, they were actually painful to be under for that long. On top of that, there was this construction going on nearby, with heavy drilling and loud banging noises that echoed through the whole place every so often. Every time the noise started, it would stop you in your tracks, and it made it impossible to relax, let alone sleep. We tried finding a decent spot for her to sit or even lie down, but all the available seats had already been taken by other passengers who were stuck there too. It was like every single person in that area had claimed a piece of floor or a chair, and we were left wandering around with nowhere to go. The only option left for her was to sleep on the cold, hard floor, which, honestly, just made me feel terrible for her. I knew this wasn't what either of us had in mind for our first night abroad. To make matters worse, earlier that day, we'd had this little mishap with water getting spilled on both of our phone chargers. I think it happened while we were digging around in our bags for snacks or something. I don't even know how the water bottle got knocked over. But whatever the reason, both of our chargers were toast. My phone had maybe 30% battery left, and her phone wasn't doing much better at around 40%. It was just the icing on the cake of what had already been a super stressful day. So, here's where things got really dicey. The airline told me that I could go to the hotel, no problem, because I had a UK passport. They didn't even question it, they just handed me the voucher for the hotel and said I was good to go. I looked at my friend, and I could see how miserable she was. She looked exhausted, scared, and upset, and I felt so bad. But I was also tired myself. I hadn't slept in over 24 hours at this point, and my body was screaming for some kind of rest. I mean, I was running on empty, and the idea of spending the night in that loud, bright, uncomfortable airport just seemed unbearable to me. I figured that if I went to the hotel, at least one of us would get a decent night's sleep, and I could come back in the morning fresh and ready to help her get through the rest of the day. I told her what I was thinking, that I'd go to the hotel for the night, and I'd be back in the morning before our flight. And that's when she lost it. She was so upset with me. She said I was abandoning her in a place she didn't know, that she was scared to be alone in a foreign airport where she couldn't even speak the language. She called me a fake friend and said I was being selfish for choosing comfort over her feelings. Honestly, it took me by surprise because I really thought I was doing the practical thing by going to the hotel. I mean, why should both of us have to suffer through a terrible night if one of us could get some sleep and be in a better position to help the other in the morning? But she didn't see it that way at all. She kept saying that she needed me to stay with her, that if I were a real friend, I wouldn't leave her alone in such a horrible situation. I tried to explain that I was completely exhausted and that we were both better off if I got some rest, but she wasn't hearing any of it. She said I was just thinking about myself and that a real friend would have stuck by her side no matter what. In the end, I went to the hotel. I felt guilty about it the whole time, but I was also so tired that as soon as I got to the room, I fell asleep. The next morning, I woke up early, as promised, charged my phone, and headed straight back to the airport. I was feeling a little better after finally getting some sleep, and I was hoping that things would be okay between us once I saw her again. But when I found her in the airport, she looked like she hadn't slept at all. She was sitting on the floor, her phone dead, and when she saw me, she just glared. I tried to apologize again, to explain that I really thought I was doing the right thing by going to the hotel, but she didn't want to hear it. She said that I had left her to suffer through the night on her own, and that she couldn't believe I would abandon her like that. "Hey," I started, trying to sound gentle. "I'm really sorry about last night. I didn't want to leave you like that. I was just so exhausted, and I thought it would be better if at least one of us." "Stop," she cut me off, not even looking at me. Her voice was flat, like she had no energy left to even argue. "You don't get it, do you?" I blinked, taken aback. "What do you mean?" "You went off to your cozy little hotel room, got a full night's sleep, and left me here to deal with everything." "I didn't sleep at all, Yvonne, not even for a minute. I spent the whole night in this stupid, loud, bright airport, while you were probably having the time of your life in that hotel." I was floored. The time of my life, it wasn't like that at all. I was tired, and I felt guilty for leaving you, but what was I supposed to do? Both of us being miserable wouldn't have helped anything. She rolled her eyes and finally stood up, brushing herself off like she couldn't stand the feeling of sitting in the same place any longer. "Yeah, I'm sure you felt really guilty. Meanwhile, I was over here having the grandest time ever, sleeping on the floor while construction workers played a symphony with their drills." "Come on, I didn't mean it like that," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I know you had a terrible night, but it'll get better from here. We've got a whole trip ahead of us, and once we get to the UK, it's going to be amazing. Let's just get through this part, okay?" She wasn't having it. "Amazing? You think this trip is going to be amazing after everything?" "Yvonne, I hate this airport. I hate that you ditched me, and I don't even want to be here anymore. I'm done. I want out." I could feel my chest tightening with panic. "What do you mean, out?" "The flight to the UK is in a few hours, and once we get there, it'll be so much better. We already bought the tickets for everything London Eye, the tour, the countryside trip. You don't want to throw that all away, right?" She crossed her arms, looking down at me like she had all the power in the world, which at that moment, I guess she did. "I don't care about any of that right now. I just want to go home." I stared at her, blinking. "Home? What are you talking about?" "I'm done, Yvonne. I want to go back. I'm not going to the UK with you. I'm not doing this whole trip. I want you to buy me a ticket home, now." My mouth fell open. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. After all the planning, the excitement, the late-night talks about how we were going to have the time of our lives, now she was asking me to cut everything short because of one bad night in an airport. "You can't be serious," I muttered, my voice barely above a whisper. "We've been talking about this trip for months. I don't know how many times I can say I'm sorry, but you know I didn't mean for things to turn out like this. It'll get better. Please, just stick it out for a few more hours, and once we're in the UK, it's going to be great. We've already spent so much money, and everything's non-refundable. You're going to throw all that away." She didn't flinch. "I don't care about the money, Yvonne. I'm not going to pretend like this is going to magically be fun after what you did. You left me when I needed you. You left me here, alone, to deal with everything by myself. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't charge my phone, I didn't even feel safe. And you went off to a hotel to sleep like nothing was wrong." It wasn't like that. I felt my frustration bubbling up, but I tried to keep my voice calm, hoping to defuse the situation. "I didn't leave you on purpose. I was exhausted. I thought if one of us could get some rest, we'd be better off, I thought." "You thought about yourself, Yvonne," she cut in sharply. "That's what you thought about. You thought, well, I'm tired, so I'll go get a nice bed and leave her to deal with whatever happens in this airport. You didn't care how scared I was, how horrible it was being in this place overnight, with all that noise and those bright lights. You just left." I opened my mouth to respond, but she wasn't done. She stepped closer, her eyes narrowing at me like I was the villain in this whole scenario. "You didn't even check in. Not once. I could have been hurt. I could have gotten lost. Something could have happened to me, and you would have been none the wiser, sleeping in some hotel room, completely oblivious." "I didn't think," I stammered. "No, you didn't," she spat back. "You didn't think about me at all. So now I'm done thinking about this trip. I'm done thinking about how great it's supposed to be. I just want to go home, and I want you to buy my ticket, now." I couldn't believe this was happening. My mind was racing, trying to figure out how everything had spiraled so quickly. Just a few hours ago, I'd been so excited for us to finally reach the UK and start our adventure. Now, my best friend, someone I trusted and shared everything with, was demanding to end it all and fly back home. "Please," I said, my voice trembling, "don't do this. I know last night was awful, but it'll get better from here, I promise. I won't leave your side for the rest of the trip if that's what it takes. We've got so much planned, things we've been dreaming of for so long. The London Eye, the countryside, all the cool stuff we booked in advance. You can't just throw it all away because of one bad night." But she wasn't budging. She crossed her arms tighter, her face hardening. "It wasn't just a bad night. It was the way you handled it, the way you handled me. You made me feel like I didn't matter, and now you want me to just suck it up and pretend like nothing happened. Like it's all going to be fine once we get there. No, Yvonne, I'm not doing that." My heart pounded in my chest, the panic rising again. "But I'm here now. I came back. I told you I'd be here in the morning, and I am. Let's just get on the flight and—" "No," she interrupted me so forcefully that I physically flinched. "You still don't get it. I don't want to go to the UK with you anymore. I don't want to go on this trip with someone who'd abandon me like you did. You think a few hours on a plane is going to magically make everything better, but it won't. I want to go home. I don't care about the UK anymore." My stomach churned with guilt and frustration. "So, what do you expect me to do? Just drop everything, buy you a ticket home and—" "What? Go to the UK by myself?" She shrugged, completely unfazed. "Do whatever you want. I'm going home, whether you like it or not." "This is insane," I whispered, more to myself than to her. "You're really going to throw everything away?" She just stared at me, her expression stone cold. "You threw me away first, Yvonne, so yeah, I guess I am." I couldn't believe it. After all our planning, all our excitement, she was going to bail on me over one night. Over one mistake. It felt surreal. I wanted to shake her, to make her see how irrational she was being, how much she was overreacting. But nothing I said seemed to matter anymore. "You can still enjoy the trip," I tried one last time, my voice barely above a whisper. "We can fix this. I'll make it up to you." She shook her head. "There's nothing you can do to fix it. I'm done, Yvonne. Just buy the ticket and let me go." I stood there, my mind spinning. Her words echoed in my head, "Just buy the ticket and let me go." The way she said it, so cold and final, like I was nothing more than a stranger to her. After everything we'd been through, after planning this trip together for so long, she was ready to throw it all away because of one horrible night in an airport. I couldn't breathe properly. My chest felt tight, like the weight of the situation was pressing down on me from all sides. I'd apologized, explained myself, done everything I could to make things right, but it didn't matter. She wasn't budging. She was done. As I stared at her walking away, I felt something shift inside me. All the excitement and hope I had for this trip, for what was supposed to be an unforgettable experience, just drained out of me. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. I didn't want to be here anymore, either, not after this. What was the point of forcing myself to go to the UK alone, knowing everything had already fallen apart before we'd even made it there? I swallowed hard, fighting the urge to cry, but I didn't want to let her see that. I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of thinking she'd broken me. "Wait," I called out before she got too far. She paused, but didn't turn around, just standing there like she couldn't care less. I walked up to her, my voice low and measured. "If you're so set on going home, fine, but I'm not going to the UK either." She finally turned around, her face betraying a flicker of confusion. "What are you talking about?" I held up my phone, pulling up the ticket page again. "I'll book us both tickets home, right now. Neither of us will go on this trip." She blinked, taken aback for the first time since this whole thing started. "Why, you were the one who was so desperate to go." I clenched my jaw, fighting to keep my voice steady. "Because what's the point of going without you? This was supposed to be our trip. We were supposed to experience this together. If you're not coming, then I don't want to go. I'm not about to wander around London by myself, pretending like everything's fine." For a moment, she just stared at me, like she didn't know what to say. Then her expression hardened again. "So what, now it's my fault that we're not going, is that what you're saying?" I shook my head, already tired of this conversation. "I'm saying this whole situation is messed up, and I don't want to be a part of it anymore. You're the one who wanted to go home. I'm just making it easier for both of us." Her eyes narrowed. "Don't act like you're doing me a favor, Yvonne. You're only doing this because you feel guilty." I could feel the anger boiling up in my chest. I tried to be understanding, tried to apologize, and tried to make things better, but she just kept throwing it back in my face. "You know what? Yeah, maybe I do feel guilty. I feel guilty for trusting you to be my friend, for thinking we could get through something like this together. But you clearly can't handle one at night without blaming me for everything." Her lips twisted into a bitter smile. "I'm blaming you because it's your fault. You left me when I needed you. You went off to a hotel while I was stuck here, scared and alone. And now, instead of owning up to that, you're trying to flip the script and make it seem like I'm the one ruining the trip. Well, I'm not. You did that all on your own." My hands tightened around my phone as I tried to keep my voice calm, but I could hear the frustration creeping in. "I've apologized 100 times. I've tried to explain why I thought going to the hotel was the right call. But you're so focused on being the victim that you can't even see that I was doing what I thought was best. I wasn't trying to hurt you, but now you're using this as an excuse to ruin everything." She scoffed, crossing her arms again. "Ruin everything? You ruined it when you decided your comfort was more important than my safety. You ruined it the moment you left me in that airport with nothing. Don't pretend like this is about me." I couldn't take it anymore. My hands were shaking as I pulled up the ticket options on my phone. "Fine," I snapped. "You want to blame me for everything? Go ahead. But I'm done. I'm booking us both tickets home, and that's it. We're done with this trip, and we're done with whatever this friendship was supposed to be." Her eyes widened slightly as I selected 2 tickets back home, the earliest ones I could find. They weren't cheap, but at that point, I didn't care. I wasn't going to let her guilt me into feeling worse than I already did. "Here," I said, holding up my phone so she could see the confirmation. 2 tickets. We leave in a few hours." She looked at the screen, her expression unreadable for a moment. Then she shook her head, a small, bitter laugh escaping her lips. "So this is how it ends, huh? We spend months planning this trip, only for you to throw it all away because you can't handle a little conflict." I clenched my teeth, trying to keep my cool. "I'm throwing it away. You're the one who demanded to go home. You're the one who couldn't let this go. I demanded to go home because you left me, she shot back, her voice rising. You're the one who couldn't be there for me when it mattered. You're the one who abandoned me. My heart was pounding in my chest, the frustration and anger finally bubbling over. I didn't abandon you. I made a choice, a bad one, sure, but I was trying to do what I thought was best for both of us. And instead of talking it out like adults, you decided to blow everything up. She scoffed again, shaking her head. I don't care what you thought. I care about how you made me feel. And you made me feel like I didn't matter. I couldn't take it anymore. Fine. If that's how you feel, then maybe it's better that we don't go on this trip together. Maybe it's better that we go home and never speak again. Her eyes flashed with something hurt. Anger, I couldn't tell anymore, but she didn't say anything. She just turned around and started walking away, leaving me standing there, my heart racing, my hands shaking. I watched her disappear into the crowd, the weight of everything hitting me all at once. This was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime. It was supposed to be an adventure, something we'd talk about for years to come. I felt a lump in my throat as I sat down, my phone still clutched in my hand. I had wanted so badly for things to be different. She was still so angry, and I didn't know what else to say. I feel like I made the best decision I could at the time, but maybe I was being selfish. Should I have stayed with her, even though I was completely exhausted? Should I have put my own needs aside for one night to be there for my friend? AITA for choosing the hotel over staying with my friend in the airport.